Hey everybody, this is Fatine.
And I'm Aja.
Kindred the Family Soul, and we're here in the music experience with our good friend Dedry Jones, a retailer. That's right, a retailer, a music retailer, still in business, still thriving in the neighborhood in Chicago, South Side. We want to say hello to Dedry Jones. What do you attribute the longevity of this music retail shop in this neighborhood in such a dwindling music retail business?
I think I actually have a lot of older customers, people who've been coming to me through the years, you know, who kind of like trust you, where they'll give you their credit card number over the phone and stuff like that. But that's really what it's about. It's those people who have been with you from the beginning and they just stick with you and they don't desert you.
How important is it to be a black retailer in this, and what part does that play in the success of black music?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I think it does have a lot to do with it. Unfortunately, I think some artists don't understand that concept. I think people don't really understand that, because if you really think about it and you think backwards, Madonna started with us. Madonna didn't start.
Borderline.
Yeah, she started with us. When you see stuff like that, then it makes you understand that
George Michael too, man.
Yeah, that you had a significant role in a lot of people's careers. I mean, I know there's artists that I feel really good about because I know that through stuff that I was doing, I helped introduce them to this market. You know, just one store, we helped a lot. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel even better when they acknowledge it, because I realized that when Ledisi got nominated for her first Grammys, she texted me and she said, "We got nominated for a Grammy," and I felt like, we did? That is like, it's just a good feeling to be acknowledged like that by artists.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, we're sitting amongst so many CDs. Of course, there's a few pieces of vinyl there, but music has gone through so many different changes, from the vinyl to the cassette to the CD to now the MP3. What's your favorite form of music packaging in terms of the listen?
CDs.
CDs?
I was never a cassette person. I went straight from vinyl to CD. I don't download unless it's like absolutely necessary and there's no other way to get the music. But I'm not a person, I don't have any music in my phone.
Really?
I don't listen to music on my phone. That's not how you're supposed to listen to music. I mean, to me, the best times that I've had listening to music, I have this chair at home that I really like, kind of a big puffy like chair. I used to love sitting there in that chair, put some real headphones on, not ear things, you know, they go earbuds, you know, but put real headphones on and listen to music. The first time I did that with Thriller, I heard stuff I didn't hear, but I heard it sitting in that chair, listening to the album with the headphones on. And I mean, that's my preference for listening to music. That's why if you send me something, I might not listen to it here. I'll wait till I get home, because I have a stereo, like a real stereo, with a mixer and 2 turntables, and an equalizer.
DJ Jones.
No, but I mean, it was just, that's how I grew up. That you listen to music on a stereo.
So why a record store? You are clearly a music lover, but what made you get into this business? Well,
I am a music lover, and I think that had a lot to do with it. I worked for R.R. Donnelley, which at the time, I don't know if it still is, was the largest commercial printer in the world. I had a good job. My mother thought I was insane to leave my job, and I had just gotten a promotion. But honestly, I was tired of working for somebody else. And I figured at that time, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it, which means I'll be stuck where I am and always wondering what would have happened if I followed my mind and went on and did a record store. I mean, all things, if everything was the way I would love it to be, I'd be like you. I'd be singing. You know, but you don't want to hear me sing. But you really don't. You really don't. But no, I mean, really, I was just tired of working for other people, and I said, take a chance while you're young. Plus, my job told me, my old job, they said you have a year. We'll give you a year, and you can come back, and you can still have your same position. Blah 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 blah. I had no idea you did exit interviews when you left your job,
Right.
but they did an exit interview, and they said they'd give me a year, and if it didn't work out, I could come back.
Wow. Well, thank God.
Yeah.
Look at how you've changed some people's lives by just not going back, not going backward. You talked about community, and that the members of the community have played a big role in why you're still here. Let's talk about the local artists. What is the relationship between local artists who do music? I mean, a lot of times you think you're going into a record store, you're going to buy music from somebody who's signed to a major label. You think it's got to have a lot of money and backing in it. Tell us about the relationship between local record shops, namely yours, and the local music scene here in Chicago.
It's a little different now because of the way music has changed, but over the years, it's been really good because people put out a CD, they want you to listen to it, they want you to sell it, you know, and what you try to do is work with them to tell them, you can't just put a CD out or put some music out. You got to market it. You know, are you going to do flyers? Are you going to do online stuff? Are you going to let people know where they can buy your music? And you've got to go through all of that. But it's I think it's been a good relationship over the years. In fact, a young lady I'm working with now, I'm her project manager, Teresa Griffin. Got to co-produce a song on her last album. We're coming out with a new album, and well, actually, we're pushing it back because of the success we're having with the last single. So we don't want to put that record out now. We're going to wait a little bit, but it should be out in the late spring, early summer. But that, you know, she's a local artist. I mean, she's not from here, but it's like Michael Jordan.
Right.
Isn't from here, but
he's
we all
for the
think,
team.
right. So, you know, she's like that. And I think she's an amazing singer, and I relish being able to work with an artist that closely, where I have some input, and it's been really good.
How does it make you feel when music that you don't really love does super well and everybody wants it?
Doesn't bother me. You know, I just look at it like everybody has different tastes, you know, and there's some stuff, though, that kind of makes you go, oh my God, are you serious?
I think once music gets played so much that it fools you into believing that you like it, because there are so many hits that are just oversaturated and they get into your brain so much you wouldn't even know that you don't like it anymore.
Yeah, no, it's like a lot of songs. I mean, I've had songs where I could sing along with them, and then I'm like, you don't even like this song. Why are you singing this song? But then it's like you hear it so much, it's ingrained in your brain, and you just kind of don't realize that you really don't like the song. It's just...
With that being said, how do you sell music? How do you take something that's so personal, that's so artistic, that people put so much energy in it, and now you're able to see even better now that you're working with an artist on making their music that part of the process even more? How do you take that and then make it into a product? How do you sell music to people?
When you have a regular customer base, the people, you know what they like. So they'll come in, they might want one CD, but they always want you to suggest something else. And the good thing about that is it allows me the opportunity to have people buy what I know they wouldn't buy. Say, for instance, your last CD. There wasn't the airplay here that there was in the beginning.
Right.
Exactly. It's been that way for
So when people came in, it's like, Kindred has a new album, and it's the second best album they've put out. It's their best album. I mean, and that's really what I thought. Because when I say something like that, I mean from front to back. You know, because a lot of people don't understand, even with a Luther album, a lot of people just know the hits. You know, but they don't know the other songs. And sometimes those other songs are good, and sometimes those other songs aren't good. But I mean, for you guys, I thought that was like, that reminded me of the first. I mean, I liked it as much as I liked the first album when I first heard it, because I will never, ever in life forget hearing you guys on the radio for the first time. I was going to a studio, and you all came on the radio, and I'm not lying. This happened to me twice. It happened once with Luther and Cheryl Lynn, and then it happened with you guys, where I just sat in the car. I was like, I can't get out of the car till this song is over. You know, I don't even know what this song is. So far away, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I couldn't get out of the car until I heard the rest of that song. And that's exciting to me, to be able to tell people, you gotta have this record. I know you don't know who it is, but I will guarantee a person, I will say, trust me, you don't like it, bring it back.
With having this retail store, making these relationships with all these different kinds of artists, ones that you love, ones that you admire, ones that you just brought to you from different record labels and things of that nature, you created a program called The Experience. We've gotten an opportunity to be on The Experience twice, I believe. And you've had wonderful artists on it, from Will Downing, Lettucey, Ashford and Simpson, over about almost 100 guests.
Well, I've done 100 experiences.
100 experiences.
I've done 100
experiences. And it
experiences.
just recently got picked up, and you're doing the program now with WTTW,
right,
on the PBS channel, and putting it out there. Tell us a little bit about starting that program and why you chose to do that.
Because I didn't think labels were supporting the artists I liked, as opposed to the artists who were super duper big. At the time, you know, Def Jam was really killing it. They had Jay-Z, they had Ja Rule, they had selling tons of that music. But Rochelle Farrell, who I had seen at NARM convention in New Orleans before her album came out, I was sitting there like, with my mouth open. She had Paris singing background. She had George Duke there. I was like, I've got to do something for artists that I really, really like. And it wasn't about them anybody singing at first. It didn't start like that. Because the very first one I did was Will Downing. Every label turned me down, like, you're crazy. No, 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 no. And so we did the very first one with him. There was no singing. It was just an interview, CD signing, and it progressed from there. Now, when Verve saw how successful that first one was, then they called me back after saying no, and offered me Al Jarreau. And then a friend of mine knew George Duke, so George Duke was my third one, and it progressed from there. And as they saw what I was doing, I think they finally got it. And I don't understand why, when I explain it, you don't get it, but once it happened, then I think a lot of labels understood. And it got to the point where I didn't have to ask. People would call and they would say, so-and-so has a new record coming out, would you do an experience with them? And but you know, for me, it was about music I like.
So you've created The Experience, which has been a wonderful platform in order to shine the light on the excellence of so many different artists, especially artists who may have otherwise not been seen in this way. How do you feel about things like the Grammys, the American Music Awards, these kinds of places that typically have not been very kind to certain genres of music, of course, all different kinds of black music? Do you think we've outgrown possibly even needing these platforms, since we have, in essence, created so many types of platforms for ourselves? Everything from The Experience to the NAACP Awards to the BET Awards and multiple things since then.
I think their significance for a lot of people is diminishing. As time, I actually stopped looking at them. This year was the first time I actually sat and watched the Grammys all the way through in years. And it was really about some of the nominees. You know, you kind of want to, you kind of rooting for Kendrick Lamar and, you know, but I stopped because, first of all, with things being the way they are now, I could look at all the performances tomorrow on YouTube. So why I got to sit here for 3 hours when I really only want to see 3 things? But the other thing is, I stopped looking at them because it's like, why did they nominate so-and-so? And why didn't they nominate so-and-so? And why do they have this person singing somebody else's song and they really can't sing? And, you know, why didn't they use
politics?
Yeah, it's just all like, not I don't get it,
Yeah.
but I don't enjoy it. 3 hours of my time is a lot of time.
Yeah.
I need to be doing something else. You know, than sitting there getting pissed off because somebody messed up somebody else's song. You know, in a tribute. You know, that's,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
in
I
those tribute
understand.
things. Because, unfortunately, some of the younger artists that they choose to be on there, they shouldn't be doing that. We've got artists, say for instance, I know people love you, but when I heard your husband sing Eddie Kendrick's song, and they repair,
yeah.
I have never forgotten that,
Yeah.
and it gave me such a larger appreciation of you as a vocalist, because I'm like, damn, that was good. And if they were doing a Motown tribute, you should be up there singing the Eddie Kendrick song. You know, but they don't, you know, they don't think like that.
What do you think that the future of music retail is at this point? I mean, of course we see you're one of the last here in Chicago and around the country, especially as an independent retailer that's actually, you know, serving the people with music and being a voice for a lot of these artists to actually connect with the fan base. Like, where do you see this in 5-10 years?
Wow. I don't even want to think about it. But you know what? I really believe that if it's true that iTunes is going to stop doing downloads in a couple years, everybody's not going to be streaming. You still have a segment of people who are going to buy CDs. And I think then a store can specialize. Maybe I'll be the only store on the South Side. I'm close to the only store on the South Side right now, but you know, if I'm the place you gotta go to get that CD, then you know, I can tough it out because there's other things I do as well. But I don't think it's ever gonna disappear. It's just like, you know, everybody said, you know, vinyl was dead.
It came back.
You know, it's like, nah. For you, the music industry doesn't understand. You can't force people to do everything you want them to do. Everybody's not like that. There are people, I mean, I want to listen to my music at home for real on a stereo. I'm not for plugging it in, plugging something in here or there, and I just, that, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we can get another 5 or 10 years out of this.
I wouldn't want to say you reinvented yourself with the experience, because you didn't. Really, you just found something, an extension of something that you loved and associated with people who you really enjoyed. Where is it that you see the experience going? You've started this new venture on television, and now you're full throttle into that. Is there any expansion on it? Do you ever see yourself doing maybe an Experience Awards?
That's interesting. I'd love to do that and get everybody mad.
He doesn't mean that.
Like,
terrible.
I'm telling you, this is what's good. That's not good. But no, you know what people don't know? It took me. I always start with the experience. I want to do this on television. Took 16 years.
Yeah.
But in my mind, you know, I'm like, this is a good idea. I know this is a good idea.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. It's
is.
going to happen. And what's interesting that people don't know is WTTW had come to an experience in 2008. And I'm not going to say they weren't feeling it. It was the wrong artist for them. It really was the wrong time. But it was also the wrong artist because the artist actually, believe it or not, let a few profanity things come out, and they actually were sitting there with a double old-fashioned glass of Johnny Walker. That ain't PBS.
Right.
That ain't PBS. No. And seriously, it was the wrong time. I wasn't ready. Not like last year. I mean, I was in, my brain is in a whole different place. My taste is probably in a different place. It happened, I think, when it was supposed to happen. And I'm just really glad it did. So we got our first season done. We are going national April 3rd.
Yes.
I don't have the schedule for all the stations, but so people will be able to see it outside of Chicago. And hopefully when it does that, that'll give us an opportunity to get sponsorship so that we can do another year. And what I want to do is I just want this to just get bigger and bigger and bigger, because I think based on people's responses, it's a smart thing to do, because I can't believe how many people have told me they'd rather come to the experience than go to a concert. Because they're going to get some singing. No, they're not going to get an hour, you know. Right. But they're going to get some singing. But they're also going to learn about somebody that they like. And I don't even know if you guys know how important it is. People, well, your family so you probably do. But people want to feel connected to you, you know? And when I saw a girl at the experience, 17, 18 years old, I'm sitting there wondering, why are you here? You're too young. Stand in front of Patti LaBelle, getting her CD signed, and she's shaking, and she starts crying. That's when it dawned on me, this is kind of important to people. And I didn't realize it, because that 30 seconds meant the world to her.
As you're doing this whole process of moving and growing into the experience, what do you feel is ultimately going to be the legacy of Dedry Jones?
Wow. I think it would be that I'm a person who loves music, who knows music, and is willing to share that with other people. I actually kind of feel that now, to tell you the truth. Yeah. You know, it's people know that I do this because I love to do this. And I you know, my stepfather used to tell me, you could pay your college tuition if you stop buying all those records. But it's something that I love.
I'll tell you this much. Because of you selling all these records, you've helped to pay for my child's college tuition.
We appreciate it.
And we appreciate it. The artist community owes you a great debt of gratitude for what you have done, because we need soldiers like yourself out here consistently letting people know that people who make good music and make good art are still out here doing that. And so, you know, whether this is not really a question, but more just an opportunity to let you know from one of the artists that you've helped and been such a great mentor and friend too, that we just really appreciate you, and we're so grateful for what you do, and we're here to support that in any way that we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you spending this time with us today.
Thank you so much.
Love to you, man.
Yes.